welcome to another interesting episode of Tech Talk with AFO. Ife, Kester, hello
Afo, you're on
guys.
glasses today. You know, we should have a background song. Like whenever we like
We're in the studios. We're gonna make one very soon.
Yeah.
On Tech Talk with AFO, where we dive into the latest in technology, exploring the stories that are shaping our digital world today. As usual, I'm your host, Afolabi Abiodun, and I have with me my buddies, Kester and Ife. Today we are covering critical tech issues, important tech news. You know, what we are speaking to today, part of it will be about data breaches, privacy concerns, and the battle against online scams. Guys, are you aware that Access Bank in their just newly released 2023 performance, a whopping 2 billion naira was lost to scammers.
Wow.
That's how big of an issue. Fraud still exists in Nigerian banks. Just do the math. If Access Bank lost 2 billion, just imagine how the likes of GT Bank and Zenith would have lost to scammers. Anyway, these are part of what we're discussing today. Of course, we'll also be delving into the ongoing competition between Samsung and Apple. Who is for Samsung? Who is for Apple? Ife and Kester.
I'm going to be for Apple on this. Like, I was once a Samsung guy, but I'm going to go for Apple on this.
On this, I'm for Samsung.
Okay, Samsung versus Apple. Okay. Anyways, let's see how that will go. And we intend to shine spotlight on a very interesting guy, a remarkable tech actor, someone that has really done something very interesting in that space. Our tech actor of the week, of course, is who? Should I let the cat out of the bag or wait till when we get there?
Let's keep it for towards the end. So we just open. Yeah.
All right, so guys, let's kick off with the first story, and it has to do with NIMC, right? NIMC, like we call them. So the conversation around NIMC is that there's a discussion, a security incident that caught the eye of the tech community. I'm personally interested because I'm a privacy guy, right? I'm a security guy when it comes to technology, and I take any breach, seriously. So NIMC found itself grappling with a data breach, which saw unauthorized access to the National Identification Number, our NIN. It was the database. There was a data breach. The database was breached. And in a swift response, access was restricted to safeguard sensitive information, according to NIMC, a move that has sparked a wide conversation about data security and the steps necessary to protect individuals' privacy in the digital age. Guys, what do you think?
Well, this whole, I read about this particular issue, and seeing as we have issues like this we have issues like this coming up. It's actually everywhere. In fact, you find, though my sources might be questionable because I see these things in a lot of movies and all that, but I want to believe that it's happened, right? Where even major organizations, major corporations, they still suffer this data breach. They still suffer this nature of breach, right? So again, what I think, we can only do as much as possible is to invest in strong security, right, for our systems, to as much as possible reduce these kind of things from happening. Well, if there is a particular hacker, for example, a particular hacker or a person that is determined and is really good at it, right? I feel like there might not be any Nigerian portal or platform that cannot be hacked right now, like that cannot be breached. I have that feeling, because when I see the nature of our platforms, like national platforms online, It's as if there is no much effort that goes into, the build of it, and also it's something that I think we should really invest in.
To put it in the right perspective, right? I want you to speak to this because you're also a student of tech security, right? The last time I checked, we were both preparing for CISSP together. Okay. Now looking at it from privacy standpoint, so we're talking about NIM. Now we're talking about tons of data. Your information, my information of millions of Nigeria. And there's a data breach, meaning God knows who and who has our information now.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, so we understand how enormous that responsibility is. Okay. And speaking to the importance of data security, how should a company like NIMC reinforce trust among users? Right? Because that's going to be everybody's concern now. How can they strengthen, our trust in the system?
So I think
you said exactly. I need answers from you. If
I
have answers, I hope you answer you.
I think for something like this, the first thing that is needed to be done is actually training. Everybody needs to be aware on every NIMC employee, everyone involved in working with the website or working with NIMC, they all have to be trained appropriately on data protection and how they can also safeguard themselves. Because the first point of every hacker's attack is social engineering, right? When I read that article, I was like, this Express Verify is nowhere, like they are not even partners with NIMC. They are just a private company that has like unrestricted access to people's data. For what, right? It shows there's some sort of loophole. And the first point of attack, which I personally would have guessed, is the social engineering attack, right? Because there's no way you can access a very secured system without applying a little bit of social engineering, right? So I think the breach is going to come from one of the employees of NIMC, one of the people that are actually managing this, managing our data, because it is the first step for us. I'm actually happy for NIMC that we have a system like this, because it showed that in Nigeria, we are now starting to have at least structured data of everybody. Back in the days, anybody can just come and just tell you I'm 30 years old and there's no facts to like verify it, but now you can easily have that. But in order to safeguard this, I know we are in our early stage when it comes to Nigeria and data like protection, security. We are at our early stage, but the major thing that is needed is awareness program. We need to there has to be awareness program for those that are like there's one thing I like about safety people, like these fire services. Like when you go for events, like when you go to organizations, you always see these fire services people. You see them train people on how to extinguish fires with fire extinguisher. Like I've been to so many trainings that are not even related to that, and they will just come. Even when I was doing during my NYSC program, as these people, they came and they educated us on how we can actually safeguard ourselves from fire and all those things. I would employ NIMC to also have not NIMC. I would employ an organization like a body on cybersecurity that is government oriented to actually have this awareness training for people.
Like every other Nigerian, right? And I was expecting you to come from a security expert standpoint. How can NIMC give me the assurance that my information with them is secured? Right? You're actually speaking to what NIMC should be doing to their employees. You understand what I'm saying? So are you saying that the same way, what's the name of the company that has that data breach again?
The Express Verify.
Express Verify. And you have quite a number of this third-party vendor that has an agreement with NIMC, with an API exchange, do you understand, for verification purposes? Like, so you are connected to NIMC and you actually can verify an individual through their portal. And I guess that bridge, there's a loophole somewhere, somehow, in whatever API or whatever information that has been exchanged. So how can you assure me as an individual, do you understand, to have confidence in what NIMC is doing with our data again? Because similar to the way these guys have access, several other organizations have, banks have access, everybody would just, so on the basis of you applying for NIMC, fulfilling some, requirements, you would have that access with an API exchange. So to restore that confidence, which is my ask, how should NIMC give us that assurance that our information is safe with them? Let me Kester can help. Kester, go ahead.
Yes, so I will have to come clean here. I might not know so much about some of these things, right, when it comes to all this, but you said something, Ife, when you were speaking. You spoke about how it was, if I'm to paraphrase what you said, it's likely that, it came from one of the people within the NIMC themselves, right? And that's like the most likely. What that meant to me is like, oh, this is not like someone from outside that just hacked his way in and, So in my head, I'm thinking this kind of thing is like someone external, breaking in and hacking and all that is very possible, right? But from what you're saying, it's seeming as if, that's not possible, or is not likely to be possible. My point is, especially speaking to, what can they do? And yes, having their own staffs aware, trained and all, it's important, and it still even speaks to reassuring the people. But more than anything, again, this is my own ignorant standpoint, right? More than anything, I think what is necessary, or what should be necessary amongst other things, is to have a team in-house, right, that are well trained in terms of data security, in terms of security for all these kind of things, that will be on ground for, because when you have this kind of possibility, who is to say, because I read and I saw that, they swiftly, were able to restrict and all that, but who is to say it can't happen again? It's, in my view, it can very well happen again tomorrow.
Guys, I want to wear my IT audit cap, just to let you know that I'm a certified IT auditor. I mean, if I know, but Kester doesn't know.
Yeah.
Right? I hold a Caesar certificate by Isaka, right? So, just to really speak to this, what is really important, because when it comes to information governance, obviously, I would expect that NIMC has an internal audit team, and they have an IT audit person on their team who obviously would have discovered this particular breach, right? That the fact that they discovered it, which was what the point Ife was making, it's a sense of confidence to an extent that when there's a breach, right, they have a system in place that will catch the act before it becomes an issue, right? So the first thing you want to first confirm is, as NIMC, what frameworks are they combining for their IT infrastructure? Is it COVID compliance? If I'm speaking as an IT auditor, am I making some sense to you? Are they combining COVID? Is it COVID compliance? Is it ISO certified? What frameworks are they combining? Right? And for whatever access you want to, so there's something we call ITGC, IT General Controls, right? That speaks to access control, that speaks to password, accessibility controls and all of that. ITGC control, up to the level of application controls. Do you understand? Now, but you also would need assurances. So, for example, now the Nigerian GDPR is called NDPR. One is to have an internal team. So you have the first line of defense, second line of defense. You know, don't let me bore you guys with all of this terminologies. But NIMC needs to convince us. They really need to show us that they have a system in place. You understand? That this is our IT policy. Okay? Yeah. They can have an abridged version of it to give the general public that this is what we have in place. You know,
just like a transparent privacy policies.
Exactly.
That shows us how
data I believe that NIMC has an audit, an external auditor. So apart from the internal audit team, which some of them obviously must be people with high level of certification. If I was speaking to some very important issues, right? Social engineering is the easiest way to get access to some things. You understand what I'm saying? So NIMC team, how trained are they? These are some of the things that we
And also, I think from what we have, I think they have a good, like you said, they have a good audit system for them to identify. I don't know if they were the one that actually identified that, or it was a third party body that identified that. But I think I would employ NIMC to have a proper incident response plan. I think it's something they are going to have. I think they would have that. I think they will have a proper incident response plan. And for us to like trust them, just like you said, like I want to know that yes, NIMC is keeping my privacy safe. I'm going to go with your points, like what you said. There have to be like a transparent privacy policy. Like we want to know how our data are collected. I just went to this thing and I just gave them my date of birth and everything. I don't know who is actually using my data. I don't know what my data is actually used for. And I don't know the kind of encryption layer that's going technical that they're actually using, because I don't even know of that company, Express Verify. I don't know how they were able to get the API to those data, and there has to be some kind of regulations as regards just issuing APIs to these companies that are just starting out. Talking about fintechs that needs individual data, they have to be properly audited, right? We have to have like a good KYC system.
So just to,
I think that's
Kester, have you had an experience? At least I know someone that has that experience that shared it, right? And again, all of these things speaks to privacy. Have you had an experience that you got a call from somebody that you didn't know, and they said someone you know is owing them? What of these microfinance, all these fintech?
I've not, but I've heard of stories like that. Yes.
They will call your mother, they will call your father, they will call everybody on your.
I think it's even a general. It's a general thing. I would say it is Pampe. Wallahi, it's Pampe. It's a general.
It's not only Pampe. It's not only Pampe. All these fintech companies.
Yeah, it's not only Pampe though. It's not only Pampe.
I think that has to do with you giving them access to your contacts.
That's right? A major issue. Don't you think? Privacy.
Even email, we just get. I like what Google
actually got a mail today. Yeah. And Kester, I still got a mail of one of our colleagues that left, that is not with us anymore, that has moved on. Got a mail today that this guy is owing them, that I should get in touch with him to come and pay them. If he doesn't want to get in trouble. And no, we're talking about privacy here, guys.
Right. Anyways, it's actually a serious issue. I know for Nigeria, we are starting out. I would say we are starting out. We can't compare ourselves with US, but we just need to adopt the frameworks that are being used. I know that NIMC, they have very smart employees. They have very smart people that can actually make this work. But I think they just have to adhere to those proper practices like the awareness training. I always say it. It is very important. If I see, I have
training and retraining.
Training. I have so much faith. Have you seen these fire safety people?
Fire drills.
Yeah. We see it everywhere.
I would work for NIMC for free. Do you understand? This is my bread and butter. I work for them for free. There are some things that they just seriously would need to put in place. Right? You mentioned something about training, for example. So one of the clients I've once worked for, right? Part of what we put in place for them, right, as a way to know who needs to be trained and who should not be trained. So there's this default mail that actually goes out from the IT team, security team, right? And it goes out periodically. It is these are emails that one of this phishing mail, right, orchestrated by the IT team, the security team, and it's going to be sent to everybody in different, different content. So basically, what we want to do is to identify people that need training.
Yeah.
It's like a bait, right? The minute you do what we don't want you to do, you are going on a compulsory training.
Yeah.
And we do that periodically, right? Just to be sure, because trust me, breach would always happen. Right? The same way we in the security folks were getting smarter. Guess what? The guys on the other side are also doing what? They are getting smarter.
Yeah.
And we're also getting the same training. We also have some of them that are CISSP certified.
Yeah.
Just like
CISSP certified. Black hackers. Yeah.
Black hackers.
So.
Understand? Anyways, Kester, this one should be a concern for you. Our next meal, right? So the next story is that we're diving into is this situation of Lagos State government and Uber. And this speaks to the fact that Uber Nigeria, in its recent dealings, said that they have an agreement with Lagos State government to share some data with them, right? So, guys, Uber sharing data with Lagos State government. Again, what do you see there? Privacy. But Uber, they are sure that only an aggregated trip data, devoid of personal identifiers, personal information will be shared. Well, again, guys, I don't know if it does for you, but for me, this raised crucial question about the balance between public service enhancement and the safeguard of our privacy. Kester, if that is not a concern for you, it is a concern for me. Uber, sharing my
I actually stand with Uber on this.
I
actually stand with Uber on this.
That they should share it.
No, that they should not. Uber is fighting. Uber does not want to share it. Both has agreed to the terms and services. They the government requested for user data, their trips, like location planning and all the things
per individual.
Per individual. And I think both has agreed to the term, but Uber is hesitant, and I know where Uber is coming from, because you can't just hand your user data over to the Lagos government like that, because you know that Lagos State government, they have flag right.
Yeah.
You know that, Kester, they have flag right. And if they have, they are competitors.
I'm not bothered about competition. That's their own problem, right?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, the fact that Lagos State government has their own ride-hailing company, the fact that they have it shows that it is actually unfair of them to ask for the other ride-hailing companies' user data, because they can actually use these data to actually optimize their own platform, and at the end run, chase out these private ride-hailing companies, or just push them to the extent that they are now going to leave, right? So I think I stand with Uber on this. They can't just leave it out like that. It is just like saying X is requesting for Facebook user data. It is not right.
Kester, I want Kester to speak to this, because if you don't know how far-reaching this can be for you, so let me explain. So with this type of information being shared, so for example, if you have a situation that you have another wheezy kid or a tech zombie in the system of Lagos State, and they get into that system, they can like get information like, this is Kester. They got Kester's information. No matter how they claim it, Kester was uniquely identified. And from that information, maybe your girlfriend actually paid, or your fiancé paid the guy that I need information on Kester, right? It's easy for that guy to see where Kester was at a particular time and where he took Uber to at a particular time. Very easy for your fiancé to now know that a rival was who you visited. If you don't understand now, you know. I'm telling you the implication of it, you're not talking.
Well, the government are saying, I think the government argument
No, I want Kester to, I want Kester to react to this. This one has to do with Kester. Hey, okay.
Okay.
And
so far,
I'm watching out for you, Kester. You're not watching out for yourself. Okay.
Yes, I've been like just listening, because I'm starting to see that there is actually a lot for me to learn. In fact, the past couple of minutes in this particular episode, I've learned new things already from you guys. So, but again, speaking to this, the whole request, I wouldn't understand. Yes, we know, today in this day and age, one of the highest currency as it is data, right? User data on whatever platform. Now, Lagos State is asking for data from, these guys, and not just like generally the individual data of the individual users. So for me, I feel like just like you first said, their decision to make it more of a general, where they are not giving that personal, like the way you just described it, where for one individual, this is the way they can get their data. I think that's like a way for them to control. But I still cannot understand why, right? Why Lagos State is asking for this data. Do we have any reason, any explanation as to why? Because
yes, let me tell you the government, like the government reason, not my own reason, like the government.
Yeah. That's what I'm asking.
They said they want to get the information of both the driver and the passenger. So that they can be able to use it effectively in case of emergency. That is their point. And Uber is saying, and what Uber is saying is that we can't give you this access because, one, it opens up people for surveillance, right? Yes. It means for government to have your data, it means they can track your every movement as long as you do this, right? So that's one. And number two, to Uber too, like if the government has like their the user data from Uber, they can be able to effectively optimize their own ride-hailing business. So it is not benefiting Uber in any way.
And it's not even benefiting. I don't even see it as something that is benefiting. So
we just have to weigh both options: the government reason and Uber's reason. So let's
the reason you just explained now. I'm still struggling with it because.
But I know why you will struggle, Kester. As long as corruption is still a major problem for us as a country. If I tell you some of my serious issues running a business and a lot of frustration around how the system works. Now, so if the same system would now administer my information, personal information, right? My movement. So it speaks volume, right? I'm telling you the extent of this corruption, right? The effect of corruption on a policy like this. We all know last week we had conversation around security issues, kidnapping, and all of that. So when you have some bad actors, some tech zombies, now trading information or trading my travel history with potential kidnappers, you can see it from different angles, okay? But back to similar to what we said, guys, similar to what we said about the NIMC scenario, similar recommendation applies here. government really need to demonstrate that level of transparency. I see the benefit of what they are trying to do from governance standpoint. Very important. You understand what I'm saying? Very important, right? There's a lot of, so many things government can achieve in terms of planning, particularly from security, traffic management. There are so many things government can do with information, okay? But how can it be done transparently? The first thing we want to see, some semblance of independence in terms of how these data are being aggregated, how these data are being managed, stored with what type of accessibility should the information have. So these are some of the things government really needs to prove beyond reasonable doubt. So even if government, the way they've untwisted, bold, and Uber, the general public really needs to ask important questions, right, on how this will be administered, because it's important. We're talking about privacy here, right? What assurance are we going to have as the general public, law-abiding citizen, paying what is due to government as tax? My privacy is also very important. Guys, let's move to this one. I'm sure this is Kester's domain, Kester's bread and butter. Google's fight against online scams, right? So it also made the news that, Google obviously making formidable battle against online scams. Successful in blocking millions of fraudulent ads. This, of course, underscores the responsibility of tech companies to foster a secure online environment for users worldwide. Kester, you know how many of your ads that will fall in the category of scam ads? Kester, you want to speak to this?
Yes, I had to learn the hard way, not just Google now, even Facebook, platforms like Facebook. I had to learn the hard way that before I say I want to do anything like running professional promotions and all, one really needs to go through their policy, right? I had to take my time to read this policy. The thing is, the way their system works, right? There's usually this, I don't know if I would call it like a bot, like it's just there to pick triggers, right? Some kind of triggers. Maybe when you are trying to write a caption and you are putting as little as an exclamation mark, right, on your headline, right? That can trigger the system. But usually what happens is they have this system where there is a second layer. The first layer is that automation. And then the second layer, after you request further review, is when a human would now probably take up that particular issue to check the case and see if it's right. So this has been on for a long time. In fact, over the years, they've modified, they've improved this so much that rarely will you be able to see a promotion around things that would, like scam. Let me even call it that. Rarely would you see, except you have craftfully. In fact, there is a particular section for circumvention. When you want to circumvent your content and trying to be creative about pushing scam, there is a check for that.
For circumvention.
Yes, it's very intentional the way they have there, and it won't be easy for you to get away with it, right? Like if you want to put, so it really is laudable what these platforms, because it's not just Google, right? Even other platforms, what they are putting in place for checking things like this.
So, Kester, for both of you, one of the reasons why this news was nice to really talk about this news side by side. We talked about the data breach on NIMC. We talked about the data transfer expected from Uber, Lyft, Bolt to Lagos State government. And if you look at all this news now, it is still centered around privacy and earning the trust of the general public. If using the Google example, at least we can say that there's a high level of trust and confidence on the users of Google's platform.
Yes.
When it comes to privacy and some level of assurances that my information with you is secured. And it did not come as a demand. Google has earned it over time. God knows how many lawsuits that Google has been involved with that is making them better at what they are doing, right? And it still doesn't mean that they are still not doing some things that still jeopardize our privacy. Okay, but there's a level of trust. There's a trust level that Google has achieved that I would expect of NIMC and also expect of Lagos state government when it comes to data governance. We're talking about privacy here, we're talking about governance here, right? And if there's anything we want to get out of this is that level of assurances. The reason why we have NDPR, right? So you have a commission responsible for that. Anybody that is involved with managing people's information, you have to be NDPR compliant. Ife, correct me if I'm wrong.
You're absolutely right.
To the GDPR from Europe.
GDPR is for NDPR is for.
We have our own version of that.
Yeah.
Guys, before we move to the segment that most of our subscribers are always looking forward to, the video of the week, right? Guys, it's important for us to tell our followers to do what? Subscribe and what? Follow us on all platforms.
Like the video.
Yes.
Subscribe, follow us on all our social media platforms. Like this video. If you've stayed up to this point and you are enjoying what you are hearing, like the video.
Let's even talk about something that happened in the news recently. And I see a bit of tech lesson, right? Tech lesson in that story, as uninteresting as it might sound to Ife. The story between Portable and Bobrisky, right? And what's the name of Ife? What's the name of Ife? Is Ife still there?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm with you. I'm here.
Right? Are you not aware of that story? You see, Ife is so uninterested.
No, I'm here.
I said you are so uninterested. It's not the kind of story you want to talk about. Bobrisky, who else again was involved?
Very dark man.
What's the name of the executive producer of the film?
I don't even know what.
I don't follow.
I didn't even know.
Anyways, guys. Okay. Anyways, I followed it just to bring it to your notice because there's a lesson there that I want us to take very seriously. In social media today now, I've come to realize that any news is good for business. So when that thing broke out, so the real issue was an award was given at the premiere of that film, right? The best
I know.
Best dressed female at that event was presented to Bobrisky.
Really?
No, I joined it now.
In Nigeria?
Yes, now.
In Nigeria?
Yes, now.
Yes.
So the producer of the movie later came out to say it was a strategy.
They did it intentionally.
It was like
create a controversy, right?
Yeah.
And that
it was deliberate at least.
The controversy worked for different reasons, right? Even what they expected the controversy to be about wasn't what it wasn't. It wasn't. In fact, they wanted everybody to talk about the movie, right? At the initial stage. But instead, what was happening? The conversation was around Bobrisky and the whole event, and nobody was talking about the movie, or it was a movie to see. Do you understand? But I love what they did. I mean, the producers, and eventually they had to do some damage control very quickly that this was part of the script. Giving the award to Bobrisky was part of the script. And guess what? When the movie in the cinema eventually sold out, like people are still going in their numbers to go see the movie. But that woman was not even the only beneficiary of that controversy. Bobrisky's subscribers increased exponentially too, because everybody wanted to know who is this.
Who is Bobrisky?
That wasn't the only beneficiary of that controversy. guess who was the beneficiary again too? And honestly, whether you like it or not, you have to give it to this Portable guy. The guy went to the studios immediately and worked a song. And I heard that song, that single that he dropped, is topping different charts. Again, what is the tech news around it, right? They took advantage of the algorithm, right? Understanding that the AI behind social media or what have you also depends on what you feed in. You don't need to be a tech professional like Ife to be a tech expert. That's the point I'm making. So I just thought I should drop that before we go for our video of the day. Ife, drop the video.
I've been locked into Apple's ecosystem for more than 10 years, but I can't help but wonder, what am I missing out on?
Presenting the first Samsung Galaxy AI phone.
Samsung has sold more phones around the world than any other company since 2011, except last year when Apple beat it. So I set myself a challenge: no Apple products for a whole week. I'd only use Samsung products and would focus on 3 areas: productivity, leisure, and health. To make sure I behave, I locked my most used Apple devices in this timed box, set to 7 days. Oh my God. I'm replacing them with Samsung devices. Here's how it went. Samsung partnered with Google and Qualcomm to bring generative AI smarts to its Galaxy S24 lineup. Because Apple doesn't have any generative AI features right now, I was keen to see how Samsung's might improve my workflow. I'll start by recording an interview.
Delvin, how's it going?
I am well, how are you? Now that my call is over, I'm really excited to see how well the phone not only transcribes, but also summarizes the conversation. I clicked 2 buttons, so let's see how long it takes to summarize it. Oh, that was fast. I mean, this is the core of my story, and it kind of summarized it in 3 bullet points. I think that's useful. Generative AI can be very valuable, and companies are projected to spend even more on it in the years to come. Apple is behind when it comes to generative AI, but it's investing to create new features for later this year. And it may even partner with Google or OpenAI to bring it to the iPhone. Moving on to Samsung's laptop. I didn't have to use it for long before I realized I liked the touchscreen. Sometimes it was actually easier to tap and move a window than it perhaps would have been to click it. I'm just so accustomed to doing things on Mac. Working with Windows will take some getting used to. My phone keeps requiring the PIN. When it came to unlocking the S24 Ultra, face scanning wasn't reliable. I added my fingerprint as a backup to get into my phone faster. Is this like AirDrop, Samsung version? One of Samsung's answers to Apple's file transfer feature AirDrop is called Samsung Flow. It worked seamlessly with the photo transfer. Oh, I guess it's Samsung Flowed. But failed with other files. Oh, actually receiving failed. What was I saying about seamless? Another time saver was the new AI feature called Circle to Search with Google. I was just watching a YouTube video and I saw a chair that I really liked. Normally on my iPhone, I would have to screenshot it, upload it to Google, run an image search. Literally, all I had to do was hold down the home screen, tap it, and Google runs an image search. But if I shrink it down to just the chair, here it is on Amazon for $250. So easy. I was really enjoying these AI tools. I thought I'd ask my colleague Joanna Stern why Samsung leans so heavily on them.
I think they did this so they would keep people in their own apps, keep people in their ecosystem. As people get more used to using these AI tools, they're going to seek out the apps to do that. ChatGPT, some photo editor, some photo generator, and you're going to get those from the App Store, and that's going to mean less time in Samsung's own apps.
And are we expecting some of this to make its way to Apple's ecosystem?
This is definitely going to be the year that we see AI or generative AI from Apple. I am spending a lot more time on my iPhone these days in that ChatGPT app. I just am. That takes me away from another Apple app and from being in that ecosystem.
Next, I was ready to test Samsung's all-important photo and video capabilities outside the office. A 2019 study from the research firm GWI found young users are more likely to consider cameras the most important feature on a smartphone. Getting the camera and editing tools right is important. So I just had to turn on generative edit. That's another new AI feature that lets you erase unwanted objects from photos. It's also something the iPhone doesn't have. Oh, there we go. I don't want this thing in the photo. It's a neat trick and it worked better than expected. Maybe Apple will offer something like this someday. As for the selfie cam, Frankly, I like how I look here more than I do oftentimes when I'm taking selfies on my iPhone. When it comes to communication, I tend to use FaceTime a couple times a week to connect with my friends and family. Luckily, I didn't have to go without it. A friend just texted me a link, and I'm gonna see if I can join a FaceTime. Hey, how's it going? FaceTime actually worked fine. As long as a friend is willing to send me a link, the experience is basically the same. Greetings, sir. I am unaware of the whereabouts of your office. Then there's AI messaging. Not helpful. Where the phone will suggest different responses for you in different tones like chill, excited, and formal. Yo, what's up? Yo, homie. Okay, so apparently when you make things sound chill, you have to add a yo or a sup. Most of the time, the AI suggested text felt like a gimmick. I mean, I know how to write my own messages. Finally, on to health and fitness. Almost 1 in 3 Americans now use a smartwatch to track their health and fitness in some way. Most are using an Apple Watch. The Apple Watch's design hasn't changed much over the years, so I wanted to see what Samsung had to offer with its Galaxy Watch 6 Classic. It has a rotating bezel that helps you navigate through menus. I'll use the watch to track my workout. Pretty cool. When I stop running, it auto pauses the running workout. My Apple Watch doesn't do that. I also tried Samsung Health, an app available on phones and Samsung TVs that offers a wide range of fitness options.
Good. Breathe yourself a little bit longer.
Best part, it has unlimited free workouts. Last night I slept with Samsung's Galaxy Watch 6 and I'm pleasantly surprised it's at 16%, so I wore it for actually longer than 24 hours and the battery life is still holding up. Typically, I find my Apple Watch only lasts up to 18 hours, which is consistent with what Apple promises. On the downside, some Samsung features were a nightmare to set up. And others never worked at all, like trying to pair my go-to fitness app Future with the watch. On my iPhone, it would just launch on the watch. There's an exclamation point on the app, which probably tells me something's a problem. Whatever, I'm just gonna work out. Finally, back with my iPhone. This week was both exhilarating and daunting. I realized that Samsung's gadgets can interact almost as seamlessly with each other as all my other Apple stuff. But just because they can, doesn't mean they always did. Yeah, this is annoying. It's not pairing with the watch. I'm definitely going to miss Samsung's AI. It'd be nice if my Mac had a touchscreen. I wish Apple Fitness Plus was somehow free. And I'd love it if my Apple Watch's battery lasted longer. So, is that enough to get me to stick with Samsung? Not quite. I'm switching back to Apple. Now that I've experienced some of the innovation and versatility of Samsung's ecosystem, I can't help but hope that Apple brings some of it to its devices someday.
Hello, guys.
Yeah.
Wow. So this is a very good way to start. So the guy we just saw, his name is called Gavin Brown. He works for WSG. Interesting guy. He has very good followership online. You know, he's a very good tech guru that reviews different technology compares, and he decided to compare Apple and Samsung this time to see which one works better. And it's obvious that the guy is one of those Apple guy, right? And whichever way it turns out, it still goes back to Apple anyways. He gave a long list of issues with Apple devices, but still at the end of the day, what happened? He went back to Apple. So I'm going to start with the Apple guy that we have on this conversation. Ife, what is it that you like about Apple that makes it a better technology compared to Samsung?
Well, I don't want to say, like, they both have their own advantages, they both have their own disadvantages. But the reason why I'm like tilting more towards Apple is that when it comes to their ecosystem, you see that Apple have like a lot of stuff integrated. So you see from the video that the guy was actually having issues when it comes to the utilization of different Samsung gadgets together. But when it comes to Apple, it works seamlessly, and that is what's like one of the things Apple has always focused on, like their ecosystem. Whatever they are producing out there, they are always making sure that it syncs well with every other product. And I think that is something Samsung is still like trying to like get up with. But Apple, they are perfect when it comes to like integrating various products that they've actually developed. So they have a very good ecosystem as compared to Samsung, and that's one of the reasons why I like them. And also on the hardware side, Apple tends to like focus more on like their more on flagship products. Like they don't produce too much, and they produce based on like the best based on features and performance of that's why you see iPhone 12, 13, 14. You know, when you compare it to Samsung has like a lot of products from medium range to low range to, and I actually love Samsung versatility when it comes to like producing, but Apple still has like the fact that Apple still keep that their own central of focus on their products, having like a flagship products every year. It's a good one for me. It's a good one for me. And on the software, I think that one is based on user preference though. I was using Samsung before, but when I switched to iPhone, it was.
I want my Samsung guy to react. Kester, before you respond, right? So Apple is one of the brands that has actually mastered the art of the zombinization of their followers. Like the minute they lock you in, they hold your remote control. To get out is always an issue. So if you look at the two guys that I've just spoken, right? If you look at what Ife just spoke to as a dedicated zombie of Apple, and what Dalvin Brown also just spoke to, you can understand the angle I'm coming from, that Apple has actually mastered the art of creating zombies that they control forever. Now listen to this lawsuit. There's this lawsuit that just happened of recent in US, and I think it happened in March, right? The Justice Department in US, joined by 16 other states and district attorney general, filed a civil antitrust lawsuit against Apple for monopolization or attempted monopolization of smartphone market in violation of Section 2 of the Sherman Act. Now, so if you listen to when Ife was explaining, he said, I love the seamless integration of everything. This is actually what Apple is being fought for. Anyways, Kester, I've given you point to use to attack Ife on Apple versus Samsung.
It's funny how this, like, I'm just hearing about this lawsuit, but people can really be funny. Yeah, I mean, except there was a particular reason why, or there was a particular thing that Apple did that was evidence to that monopolization act. Otherwise, it would just be a. But in any way,
maybe I should understand that I'm actually having a debate with two Apple guys on this.
No.
I can give you 1,001 reason. 1,001 reason why that lawsuit is so necessary. If you don't know, I can help you with this information.
Well, one thing that I know that Apple they've been able to do, just like Ife has said, is that ecosystem, right? It's so, in fact, that's like one of the number one for them, right? In fact, number one, they've been able to really make that synchronization so smooth that for gadgets, people that like to use gadgets, they can just easily have the same brand. But more than that, what I think Apple have also been able to do is to create that brand loyalty, right? With, I mean, over the years, everything they've been doing, that premium experience that they prioritize for their users, right? So in my mind, it's like, is this why, except there are more that I don't do, right? Is this why they are being sued? But coming back to Samsung now, why I said initially at the beginning that I think I will still go for Samsung is very simple. As far as features is concerned, like what you can actually do with what I've seen on, the high-end Samsung, high-end iPhone. For me, it's always going to Samsung. Just look at this generative AI application for Samsung now that currently we don't have that. Though, you mentioned that Apple are looking to put this on in their subsequent versions, but just look at that. The list of things that you can do. But even that aside, I once, came to the point that speaking to camera quality and all, because, one of the things for a content creator like myself, one of the things that I always am for when it comes to phone is the quality of the camera. I need good quality, and iPhone has always given that, But to my surprise, one very day I was in a particular meeting with some people, and after the meeting, we wanted to take group pictures. So there was a guy with an iPhone 13 Pro, right? Like the highest of iPhone 13, right? He was taking pictures, and there was this other guy with a slim Samsung. This Samsung Fold. Yes, I don't remember the specific model, but it was a Samsung Fold. They both took pictures with both phones, and nobody could deny the fact that the Samsung Fold's quality was far better. It was very clear, right? That amongst several other things, right? Like some of the things you just mentioned there. For me, I would always go for a Samsung brand. And one other reason I have that is kind of like petty is I would admit that it's petty. Is I actually don't like it when something is being brought to one point of, oh, this is the best, this is the highest of it, or when in truth it's not necessarily the case. I mean, I just spoke about how Samsung, in terms of features, like phone features now, it really, comes above iPhone in some ways, right? So this is also another reason why, and I would have to say it's just at the back of my mind that if I see an iPhone and I see a Samsung, both at the eye level, I would most likely gear towards the Samsung.
I don't think, I think the people that actually use iPhone, they don't know, like, I think you have to use iPhone.
You probably want to say they are zombies, so they don't see another one.
They don't, like, when you are, like, if you are using MacBook with an iPhone, there are so many things that you can actually do, that there are so many features that can actually increase your productivity, right? If you are using both together. Like, I can just be on my phone now and I want to, like, probably I'm working on my system and I need to get a particular information from my phone. I can just do that seamlessly, because when you match your MacBook with your phone, if you are working on your phone, it is just like you are working on your MacBook.
Yeah.
So those, like, that seamless integration is just, I don't think a lot of people, I get the fact that people would
that's the ecosystem we're talking about. That's why we said
they have this tightly. Yeah, so I get the fact that a lot of people used to say iPhone is because of the price, is this, is that, but you can't just take away the fact that it has these functionalities that are so unique that
it's not even about price, really, because if it's about price, the high-level Samsung is almost the same price.
No, but you know that Samsung, you know Samsung has range. Like, you can.
No, I know. But we're not
you
talking
get
about
iPhone. You have to get, right. No, I'm just saying, like, one of the major reasons why a lot of people don't like iPhone is because of the, like, it is so expensive, right? It limits, and people see it as class, like, yeah, as when you have iPhone, yes, you are top of
the idea of that is irritating.
But I don't really see it. There was a time, like, my phone, like the phone I'm using, my iPhone, like, I'm using one pouch and I'm using one screen, and someone told me that, why am I using screen guard? Why am I using? I should let people see the phone. I was like, what?
Gentlemen. You know, I need to come in here, right? I need to come in here because Again, it just confirmed to me that Apple has successfully created a call. It's a call system. If you are in that Apple ecosystem, sorry, it is just an unfortunate situation. The minute you are indoctrinated, to get you out would be a problem. It's like a cult, and they will never see beyond.
If you are producing something better, it is not.
They won't see beyond their ecosystem. So now let's go back to the reason for that lawsuit. Kester, in case you don't know, right? And I want you to know, you are elaborated already because you're a Samsung guy, but I need to really.
I think I'll put in the Samsung guy too.
Let me arm you with more facts. God forbid, how can I be an Apple guy? Let me arm you with more facts that you can use to tackle people like Ife. So for starters, what Samsung has successfully done, if not for Samsung, do you understand? The Apple cult would have frustrated our life in terms of quality, in terms of mobile experience, in terms of sneaky, so many things that come with it, and you always can find your size and your level, right? I don't need to go and break the bank.
Kester, you see what I said?
Hello, are you listening? So for starters, it's always about, for them, it's about class, right? It was even Samsung that got them to start coming up with some things that would address some class of people. That's number one. Now, number two, frustration. So for you to understand that when you are in that call, to get out of it is always a problem. Kester, the number one frustration is, in technology, if there's anything anybody would like to emphasize, is that the interoperability of things. The interoperability of things. Why would I need, so if I have an iPhone, right, and I don't have a Mac, I cannot have a seamless experience.
That's the downside.
No. Okay. Let me address this. Let me address it.
That's one downside.
See. Apple's iOS is not open sourced. It's the same thing we have with Google Pixel.
You see what I'm saying?
It's the same thing we have with.
Hold on. That's what he's saying now.
Hold on.
Hold on.
Kester asked me the reason for the lawsuit, and I'm telling you some of the reasons, right? Some Apple users, which the government recognized, are frustrated with the fact that when you are on Apple devices, they are frustrating you to explore other technology because they've locked you. They've locked your life.
That's a conspiracy.
You can't do anything. So, for example, it's only Apple. If Kester and Ife, it is only Apple that you walk into a boardroom somewhere and you need to make a presentation. You'll be looking for converters. I need this one. I need an adapter. I need this one. I need this one. You won't just get things done seamlessly. It is only on Apple that you cannot see any TV and project to that TV seamlessly. It is only on Apple. The seamless operation is only on Apple that you cannot bring another AirPod until you have to get the Chinese to come up with a version that would be a Apple lookalike before you can use an AirPod.
Apple, you can use other AirPods with Apple now. You can use Arrival with Apple. I think that the conspiracy theory of Apple is
how many options do you have?
I think
how many options?
Okay. So let me explain one thing. If you look at Google Pixel also does the same thing. The fact that you are saying Samsung, see, like Apple basically, like they are the producer of Samsung screen. Samsung are the producer of Apple screen. Yes, now they produce Apple's hardware when it comes to hardware.
If we are speaking to the monopoly. We are speaking to the
Apple, there's no monopoly, it's just their way of, it's just their strategy.
That's what you call
Samsung is operating on an open source.
That is monopoly. Now, you know how long it took us to get to the point that when you migrate, for example, now, when you migrate from Apple to Samsung, your WhatsApp backup, you lose it. Until recently, I can never forgive Apple for that. You will lose it. so many frustration. I can go on and on and on and on and on, right? I mean, the painful part of it for me, I'll tell you my painful part. My painful part is that Apple has locked. I have so many people that need to be emancipated. I'm bitter because Ife, Abiola, so many of them, Apple.
And for what exactly?
Lives.
I remember.
I'm also going to join. I'm going to join. What's it called? Join U.S. government in this lawsuit. At least
I just remembered one video I saw.
I need to liberate Ife. I need to liberate Abiola and Demola. So many people.
So I remember one.
Kester, something is even happening. You know, because of Apple now. Well, Samsung too can also be blamed for that too. The tradition. How many people do you see with old traditional wristwatch anymore? Everybody wants to flaunt their Apple Watch. Those people are so wicked. Apple, I don't like them for anything.
Apple, what's the point of innovation? They are always fighting for innovation.
When you were just talking about
innovation is about flexibility. Innovation is about interoperability. Innovation is about liberalization, not zombies, not enslavement. That's what you guys are doing. Apple folks, you are terrible people.
I'm not going to say anything.
I watched a video. Mark Zuckerberg, like, he did an ad video himself, right? You know this VR, this virtual reality. So look by himself, he made this video, and he was just trying to, the one from Meta, right? He was trying to advertise it, but his approach was very direct and like bold. But of course, it will only be someone of his caliber that would do that. What was he saying? He was literally in his ad video, because this was like an ad, right? He was literally comparing it with Apple, right? That's the Apple's yes. And it was what he was putting out there was basically, he was saying, I don't understand why Apple's vision this thing is actually this expensive, when with this amount you can afford to get this. Yes, it was trying to market it, but he was also saying he has tested Apple's own, and he has tested the one they did, and the quality, like from his own point of view, from Meta is actually far better than that of Apple's. So he doesn't understand why Apple's own is that expensive. So when it comes to Apple, they've been able to, like I said, build that brand that they can always place premium at this kind of things. And people would go for it, whether or not, there is another brand that can do the same thing or better. People would just go for it, right? So that we got, because I'm sure for that lawsuit to have come up, we must have had like a huge number of individuals, like people coming up to.
We are so frustrated, Kester. We are so frustrated. We have to break that monopoly. Anyways, guys, let's move to the next and final segment of the day, and of course, it is our tech actor of the day. Guy, is this our tech actor of the day? Is it really worthy of commendation and celebration?
Let me say why he is. He is because for every phone that I've had to buy, one of the reviews that I would want to watch.
Don't reveal his name. Don't reveal his name yet. So let's just.
Yes. One of the reviews that I would like to watch personally, like, let me even hear from this guy to see, what I can really, beyond what the specifications is saying, is this particular person, and he has consistently been able to really put out content that really makes a lot of sense for tech gadget enthusiasts. So yeah, let me pause there.
Why do you think this guy is worthy of celebration? Anyways, not to. Yeah. No, I don't want to hold our people, at suspense too much. Let's quickly unveil Fisayo Fosudo. A round of applause for Fisayo. So Peter's posted though is a tech reviewer. His insights and analysis has profoundly impacted how consumers, listen to Kester, how consumers interact with technology. Peter's comprehensive reviews and thoughtful commentary has not only guided purchasing decisions, but also illuminated the broader implication of tech trends in our society. Can we appreciate this guy? A round of applause for him. His work exemplifies the influential role of tech influencers in shaping discussion around innovation, the usability of technology, and the ethical consideration of emerging technologies. Guys, Peter commands a very huge audience. How many millions on YouTube now? Ife?
Yeah, I'm actually not. Right, Pisa is a very good storyteller. I actually like him for that. Like
you like Pisa? Awesome.
He's a very good storyteller. I've been following him since when he started. Then
for years, I've actually been following him.
Was it Pisa that got you into Apple or what?
No.
I think I can't.
Don't worry. Afo, when you come, I'm going to pull you out from that Samsung.
God forbid.
I know what to do. No, I know what to do. I know what to do. I know what to do.
Anyway, still talking about Fisayo.
Fisayo is a great guy. Like, I really like his product reviews. He's always trying to be like, unlike other storytellers. He's always like, he doesn't really attack products. He tends to like just find a balance between, and he's very good. He's a very good guy. Great guy.
So if I just throw a jab, like Fisayo is a better guy, like unlike Afo that is attacking Apple, no problem. I heard. I saw that jab. What about Fisayo?
Yeah, it's just like I've said, like truly. There was this, when I wanted to buy AirPod, I had to watch his video, and he was trying to review Apple versus Oraimo. Even though the idea of that review was like outrageous, like how will you compare Oraimo with Apple AirPod? But the way he did it, I was still able to see the good side of Oraimo, right? So he really is someone that he does.
I'll pick Oraimo Apple AirPod though.
You said?
Out of contest, I'll pick Oraimo over Apple AirPod. Yeah, that's
He really makes his reviews like professional. Yeah.
Alright.
Yes, sir. Buy one.
When you get back.
Guys, it's really been an interesting conversation today, right? And I love the new pattern of our conversation. We started with some very important information that we believe people should be educated about. We talked about the data breach that happened with NIMC and how NIMC swiftly responded to it by blocking access to some of their, I think virtually all their vendors, just to ensure that they really get to the heart of the problem. And we of course share our own thoughts on what they needed to do to guide against that in future. We also moved on to Uber and Lagos State government, the need for all the need for Uber and Bolt and other rides providing application to share information with the state government. Again, it's still around privacy, and we believe that something will be done about that. The most important part of our program is, of course, where we have a video to review, and it was about Apple and Samsung. Kester was for Samsung, Apple was for Samsung. Ife was the only Apple guy on this session for him. Anyways, we also had conversation about our tech actor of the day. Ife was going to say something. What's your closing remark?
Well, it's been a nice conversation. It is always a nice. It has always been a nice conversation with Afo. Whenever.
Kester, what's your closing remark, please?
So I really one thing I would really say is the first couple of minutes of this session, I had to keep quiet because I realized that the best thing for me to do was to just learn, and truly, for the fact that I know very well that I've learned from this session myself, whoever it is that would have stayed to watch would have also gotten probably even much more things to learn, right? So I'm always very honored to be a part of this session, to give my views, even though I'm the kind of person that I tend to be held back with giving my views, but this platform has given me the chance to express myself in ways that every other time I learn how better to express myself. So Techtalk-With-AFO, we are doing really great things, and makes a lot
talking of about doing great things, guys. Our Tech Quest journey still continues, going from school to school. We did something that is interesting, something that is exceptional. We took Techtalk-With-AFO, we took it to a very unconventional place. Is it even the right word to use? But anyways, guess what? Technology also happens in churches. We were invited to this very beautiful church. Apart from the fact that they try to engage people spiritually, right, to also guide children on morality. This church also saw that technology is very important, that the future the kids are looking at is the future of IT, future of AI. And they invited TechQuest. And I'm really so impressed by the quality of the mindset of the children in this church. I'm really honored, and I'm glad that we made that trip, right? That's on our TechQuest. We're still visiting. We still intend to give more laptops as much as we can. The more laptops we get from people, the more people will hand over our laptops. We're doing Chromebooks, we're doing laptops. So what we do all the time is to find more donors, get laptops from people, use laptops. If you have new laptops, I don't mind. But for me, I'm particular about used laptop. So something happened. I would like to talk about it. Kester said I shouldn't talk about it. So some of the laptops we gave out, right? It wasn't properly, and going forward, we have to test very well just to be sure that these laptops are in good condition, right? We gave out some of our laptops, and we got call from our recipient that the laptops you gave us are not working. But we responded very swiftly that, okay, don't worry, bring it back. Don't worry, we'll come and pick it from you. We picked back the laptop. We realized that one had battery issue. We fixed the battery, right? But again, on a serious note now, it actually speaks to what is driving us. For me, in technology today, Kester also shared his own experience. He first shared his experience. It was because we were intentional. A fairly used laptop is what has exposed me. I'm not using a laptop that is probably worth about $3,000 today that I got with my own money, right? But it was my first fairly used laptop that opened the door for me. And we are really particular about tech enthusiasts, people that really would go to any length. I remember those days that I'll carry my uncle's laptop that will give me problem. I'll go to Computer Village to go and fix it. I'll be in Computer Village for hours, from morning till evening. They are trying to find, is it the memory that has issues or what have you, right? So I'm sure the kids that we've empowered, they would also have wonderful stories to tell. Remember, Ife, what we talked about, if we want Nigeria, Africa to have a seat on the table, we need to do what? Book forth. Get more people in the tech space. Thank you guys for your time. Please follow us on all platforms. Subscribe, share, and promote what we are doing. If you are willing, you want to support what we are doing, please send us an email, give us a phone call. We are more than willing to partner with you. Guys,